Did you know that the quickest way to get into a spot of bother in Uzbekistan is by letting their flag touch the floor? That's right, drop the flag and you might just find yourself grounded, literally, because the people of Uzbekistan revere their flag. But how did this flag go from a piece of cloth to a superstar of a national symbol? Well, I'm currently in Uzbekistan, and during my brief stop I've uncovered some interesting information, including a secret about the flag so genius that it will blow your mind. Welcome to this flag's in 50 places. But first, let's quickly travel back in time to see Uzbekistan's flag has changed over the centuries. Let's hop into our time machine, safety not guaranteed, and zip back to 1370, where Uzbekistan was part of the Timurid Empire, and its flag featured a black field with 3 off-centered red circles. Now, as we skip ahead through time, remember that this region was controlled by many different national states, each leaving its mark. But fast forward to 1925, a pivotal year when everything began to change. Imagine you're listening to a radio and suddenly the announcer breaks in with some big news. Hey everyone, a big change is coming. We're now called Uzbekistan SSR and we have a new constitution. But that's not all. The voice also declares that there's a brand new flag for the country. And just like that, Uzbekistan's flag got a fresh new look. But again, we skip to January 14th, 1941. This time, there's a little tweak. They've changed the words on the flag to Russian. It's like rewriting your name in fancy cursive to make it look cool. And yes, this gave the new flag a facelift. But in 1952, as with all other SSRs, it was time for another makeover. The government hired a local artist, Anatoly Kuzmik Osyakho, and asked him to spice things up. After playing around with some colours, he created a flashy design. It was the red flag with the cool blue stripe in the middle, flanked by the skinny white lines. And to add an extra touch of style, he included the golden sickle and hammer, although to be fair, that was a mandate. The hammer and sickle represents peasants and workers' union, and boom, this became the official flag. Now, although Uzbekistan used to be part of the Soviet Union, when that fell in 1991, they obviously parted ways, and after doing so they needed a new flag that showed off their style. But before then, let's talk about how the ancient city of Samarkand, which is where I am, greatly influenced this new design. This city isn't just a place, it's a legend woven through time. Samarkand is famous for being a place where many different cultures and people have come together over the centuries. It's like a meeting point of the old Silk Road where traders and scholars from all over the world would gather. One of the coolest places in Samarkand is here, the Redesign Park. Long ago, it was where kings made big announcements and sometimes even held public executions. But it wasn't all a grim. Redesign Square was also the place of learning. There was a school there called Ulugh Madrasa, started by a ruler named Ulugh Beg. Here he is here from the 1400s. Ulugh Beg loved astronomy and built one of the best observatories back then, where people came to study the sky and learn about the stars. This story shows us that Samarkand was not just important for trade, but also for education and science. The city has a rich history that mixes tough times with times of great learning. This mix of history and learning is part of what Uzbek flag represents today. It's all about showing the spirit of history of the places like Samarkand. But why did Uzbekistan say goodbye to its former flag? Well, the country grew out of its old t-shirt and wanted something new. This birthed the Uzbekistan Flag Redesign competition. Back in 1991, Uzbekistan decided it was time to stand on its own. On the morning of the 31st of August 1991, it said goodbye to the Soviet Union, and as such, it needed a new flag. This new identity should scream,
"Welcome to Uzbekistan."
The old one wasn't fit anymore because it reminded them of the Soviet Union. Certainly not cool. So the government came up with a brilliant plan. How about a nationwide flag design contest? What if we asked professional artists and people who love drawing to send in their designs? The government turned the boring task into a treasure hunt to excite more people. What did they do? They offered a big prize to the best idea maker. Well, this worked because after the announcement, over 200 people rushed to their drawing boards, sketched up a storm. Participants drew dazzling designs, hoping to win the sweet reward. But guess what? Of all the entries, the winner was a design from a young unknown artist. Government officials were stunned because of his design was amazing. This guy infused carefully chosen colours that told stories about the country's rich history and culture. When the government showed off this new flag to citizens, everyone went wild. How did a random young artist become so creative? And on November the 18th, 1991, the new flag officially became the symbol of Uzbekistan. It's so unique that you can't slap it on a random shirt or mug. Only official groups linked to the government can do that. And if you disrespect the flag, well, that's super risky. Now, Uzbekistan was the first country in Central Asia to show off its new flag to the world. And speaking of the world, which flag do you want me to talk about next? Let me know in the comments below. But before we dive into the secret message behind Uzbekistan's flag, what about its next door neighbours? First off is Kazakhstan. It waves the same sky blue as Uzbekistan, but with a twist. It splashes it with a gold like the sun dropped on it. But it's not just the sun that makes it stand out, it has an incredible eagle chilling at the centre. Next we have Kyrgyzstan, a country that loves to show off. It rocks a bold red background with a golden sun in the middle. What's with the countries and the sun, by the way? The red colour represents the bravery of the Kyrgyz people. Now over to Tajikistan, where the flag is red, white and green. For them, this translates into victory, peace and lush green of Islam. Let's not forget Turkmenistan. Imagine the combination here. Green for Islam, a white crescent moon smiling at the future, and its 5 stars. These stars represent our 5 senses and the 5 states of matter. Later in this video, you'll see how exactly this resembles our flag hero of the day. You see, Uzbekistan's flag tells a comprehensive story from the past and dreams for tomorrow. It may come off as a blend of fun colours, but the meanings are deeper than you can imagine. Take the colour blue, for instance. It's a reminder that the sky and water are the source of life. Then there's white, which isn't just a colour for painting your room, but stands for peace and good luck. Locals have a special saying of OK Yul, meaning safe journey. Now the green represents nature, new life and the hope for a bumper crops at harvest time. Do you see those 2 skinny red lines? They are the lifeblood of the flag. I already stated that the crescent is a nod to the Islamic faith, but hold on, because things are about to get wild. The 12 white stars represent each month of the year. They also give a special shout out to the 12 districts of Uzbekistan and connect to an ancient solar calendar. Talk about multitasking flag. And that's not all. These stars symbolise the joy and perfection at home in Uzbekistan. And for the genius flag secret I teased earlier, I bet you didn't know that the stars on the Uzbekistan flag secretly spell out the word Allah in Arabic. Talk about the world's coolest hidden message. So next time you see Uzbekistan's flag, give kudos to its designer for such a unique design. And speaking of unique flags, did you know that the Olympics forced Liechtenstein to change its flag? Well, to find out more, you're going to need this video over here. Bon voyage!